Hello, folks, and welcome to the Atomic Salt live show. We're back after some computer issues and traveling over the past couple of weeks. I am Wild7, and as always, I'm joined by my buddy Casey. Casey, how have you been these past while?
Mute. No, I've been good. I've been very good. So, um, yeah, just been kind of crazy. It's that time of year where it just gets harder and harder to coordinate things.
Yeah, in a school year, people graduating.
It's tough. Yeah, summer. So I mean, people start traveling a little bit more, and
It's that whole hobby life balance that we all struggle to achieve.
very few of us actually manage it. Turns out life just keeps on winning.
So, what have you been up to in the hobby world these past couple of weeks?
So I've been, as you can see, I've been painting some Guildball miniatures.
Ooh.
Get that out of the way. So these are my Masons. This in particular, this is Hammer. He's the new captain for season 2. Uh, I've got him base coated pretty much all the way around, except for I missed a little spot here that I'm gonna have to go back and get. And I've just been kind of hitting him with flesh tones. And it's kind of fun. Like, at first I was really thinking, I was like I had done like all the appreciating, and I was like, that actually looks kind of cool. I'm gonna make him like heavy metal, like death face, like death paint kind of sort of stuff. Um, but then I kind of backed away from that. I was like, what, I've got to do just a little bit more. I just feel like they're not quite done if I don't. Um, it was funny. We've just started a Guildball league here in our local area, and we're going to play it by all the big league rules. And the guy I kind of pseudo played for like the preseason game, and this is me. He was a very nice guy, but he kept on crowing about his models, like, "Oh, I commission painted that other guy's army, and this army," and I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, "Yeah, but your stuff looks kind of crappy." Like, I didn't say that, obviously. I was like, "Oh, because nobody wants to hear that they got ugly models." Um, but I was just kind of like, okay, great. And in my head, I'm like, I can paint so much better than this guy, and I was just a little bummed out because my painting just wasn't showing it. And so I was like, I can't actually speak because my stuff isn't done. And so I I would rather let my models do the talking, you know. And so I'm like, well, shoot, I guess I'm gonna have to go you know, start getting it done. It's I said it may not be the best reason for doing this, but it's mine.
Well, it's not like you to be playing without fully painted.
Yeah, I have such a hard time with these models, just because they don't really get me excited to paint. Like, I mean, they look fine. Yeah, I get so excited over models. Um, but like when I sit down and it's time to start painting something, I could just think of a bunch of other stuff that I would rather paint than these.
Yeah, I mean they're 3D printed or 3D sculpted and all that. I mean, at the digital renders that they show on the box and all that, you're like, wow, that looks really cool. And then you get it in person, you're like, oh, they didn't quite do the render, but I mean, they look all right.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing is, I mean they look all right. I guess I've just been spoiled by what Corvus Belli can do.
Well, I think it might be like the 360 rule. Like, does your miniature look great from all angles?
Um, and that's the thing is like it does. Actually, like it doesn't really look bad. It's just, I mean, it's just kind of like a generic fantasy dude, right? With some armor and a hammer. And arguably, there's nothing wrong with the way this guy looks. It's And to be fair, he's one of their better models, I think. But yeah, it doesn't. The style just doesn't do anything for me. Um,
Yeah, I get that. It's an odd it's odd balance. I mean, it's hit or miss.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm back. I just had to help with something real quick.
Not a problem.
So I know I was giving you heart palpitations considering the problems we just had.
So,
Okay, so but yeah. Anyways, so yeah, these are just models that just don't like really excite me all that much to paint. Like I just don't. When I sit down, there's a lot of other models that I would rather paint than these guys, and so I really kind of have to, kind of get myself worked up to do these, and if showing what I can do is the way to do it, then I mean maybe that's for the best.
so what do
I
you
went
think of
way
the
too
game?
hard on those highlights.
What are your opinions on the game itself?
I actually really like the game. And it's funny because I didn't think I would. I You say like fantasy sports game, and I'm just kind of like, meh. Um, but having played it a few times now, uh, and I by no means am an expert at this game, I really enjoy it. I actually have a lot of fun with this game. The nice thing is, it feels a lot like chess when you play it because uh, it's got the you go, I go back and forth, which is nice. So both sides are staying pretty engaged. Um, and with the alternate activations, it keeps you um, it keeps you in the game for lack of a better word. And being able to, and there's two ways to score points, which is either through making actual goals or just beating the crap out of your opponent. And from what I've found, both ways are actually a decent way of actually going about it. There's not one way that's more powerful than the other.
Really, I didn't know that you could score points by bludgeoning your opponent.
Yeah, so in a full size game, you're going for 12 points, and scoring a goal is worth 4 points, and bludgeoning your opponent is worth 2. So if you're going to beat people down, you've got quite a bit of work ahead of you. But to be fair, it's entirely possible. Like for instance, the guy I played against in my preseason game, he actually won. But that's how he did it, was by basically just punching me out.
I,
You know, he, I had a couple of goals, and he just had a whole bunch of takeouts.
some
And
I'm guessing
it works.
different factions can do scoring a little bit differently, right?
Yes, that's very true. And they'll kind of approach it differently. So, um, and like I said, I'm not really the expert on this, and so I won't try and pass myself off as one. But so my guys, the Masons, are very well rounded. They can do either method fairly well. They can't do them both at the same time, so you kind of have to pick like, what do you want to do with these guys? That term, because either you're kicking the ball or you're punching somebody, and you're not going to do both. The guy I was playing was the Engineers, and they're actually, despite him, you know, winning on a bunch of takeouts, his team was actually more about scoring than they are about takeouts. However, it just so happened that he had a lot of tools that would negate my bonuses. So my guys tend to have a bit of armor to them. That's kind of how they mitigate their damage. But um, his types of attacks were just ignoring my armor, and so it was kind of frustrating. So he was having a good old time beating me up. So he, like, by the end of it, he's like, "Wow, that was really weird. I've never had so many takeouts in a game before." I was like, "Well, to be fair, I'm also new at the game, and he was very experienced at it." And I told him right up front, I'm like, "This is going to be kind of like kicking a puppy for you, just so you know." Um, so I hope it scratches the itch, because yeah, so it's kind of frustrating for me, right? I don't use a whole lot of recipes when I do skin tones. What I typically do is I just create a nice base color I like, and then I just start lightening it up and adding as I go,
Mhm.
um, which is nice. The nice thing is, like, if you put two or three of my models together, they all have different skin tones to them. But I forgot about one of his arms.
Oh,
So now I'm like having to backtrack and say, like, oh shoot, how did I do this again? And I mean, fortunately, I remembered quick enough that I could, like, quickly, like, scratch down my recipe and that I'd used. But it was just one of those things where I was like, oh dang it, good job, idiot. So, but yeah, so played my preseason game. It was fun. I lost, but I kept it close. As I said, his army, the way it's supposed to function is it likes to spread people out and score goals, which is kind of funny because the way my guys like to work is they like to try and group up together and score goals. So they were really kind of were doing the same thing just in very different ways.
so these guys like the hard counter to your army or faction?
I would not call them the hard counter to my army. Um, I mean, maybe they are. As I'm thinking about it, because they have a lot of character plays which ignore my armor, and they like to spread me out, versus I like to stay clumped together. So maybe they are. Um, but really, at the end of the day, the game came down to just a couple of dice rolls. Which
Dice, our mortal enemy.
I know I. So what I was looking for is I was looking for 3 4-ups, and I was rolling 7 dice, right? I'm like, oh, dude, I can totally do that many 4-ups. That shouldn't be a problem. Nope. I got like one short of what I needed, and I was just kind of like, well, I think that's the game. And then it quickly confirmed my suspicions that yes, it was the game. So, but to be fair, I was close enough that if he had screwed up his dice rolls, I probably could have taken the game back from him. So, and that's always a good thing. When it's close like that. So, um, but I'm kind of excited. So we've decided to use like the big league rules. So um, there's like a big meta game that goes along with this, right? Um, so I mean, you're basically playing as one of the as like a real coach, and so you're going to be, having to worry about plays, and you can make trades, and just kind of trying to figure out what your guys are trying to do throughout the course of the league. And there's actually different ways to win this league. Obviously there's getting more points than everybody else, and oh, that's not the right color. Um, boy. Um, sorry, I'm just looking at that paint, and I'm like, you are not looking like you should. Dang it. Um, one of them is just straight up wins and losses. But then at the same time, you can also um, accomplish campaign objectives. Which is basically kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Like during the game, you have different plots that you're trying to
So like
do.
achievements.
Yeah, basically by scoring more achievements than the other guy. And if you do that, then you win. So to be fair, there's actually like several different levels of it. Oh, that's looking a little better there. That's looking a little better. Daddy likes that brown. Yeah, that's some brown sugar right there. Kiddies, you turn off your microphones now. Oh, yeah.
Atomic Salt After Dark.
Well, hello, Hammer. Hammer. He's like Shaft, but just talk about my man Shaft. Or my man Hammer. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Um, yeah, so you can win through doing achievements, which is kind of cool. And to be fair, I'm almost thinking that that's the way that I need to play. Just because I'm going to be one of the most junior players in this league. And so I will, and to be fair, I'm not like out there saying, I want to win this whole thing. I'd really just like to do respectable.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to do respectable, I have a feeling I'm going to have to try and play the achievement game. So, and that's weird. Like I'm usually more of a straight up and down kind of guy. So going this route is going to be a little different for me. But still, it'll be something different, something fun. Man, you ever do highlights and look and you're like, that was too much?
Well, no, you can never go too high on highlights.
I know. Like I'm pretty sure. Like once I put them on the table, and I get them out from under the lamp because I'm under no illusions. These are not going to be like competition pieces. When I get him on the table, he'll probably look okay, but it's just like, whatever. I mean, it'll still look fine. It'll have several layers of highlights, and it'll count for something, I guess. But now I'm like, shoot, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another 7 of these guys to do. Just like, shoot me now.
That's chain painting. I cannot get into chain painting.
Well, that's why I did this guy. He's like the only African American on the team, so I can get away with just doing his skin tones tonight. But yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
when it comes to painting a single miniature versus like several, I'm like, I'll get maybe 75% done on each of them, and then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna take each one by themselves and finish them up separately.
Yeah, and that's just about where these guys are at. And that might be what I do. Now that I'm thinking about it, is I might just finish him up all the way, and then I'll come back around and hit all the other ones. But that's going to make this project a lot longer than what I kind of want. Oh, Guildball. Oh, Guildball. Why do you torment me so?
So is this the new hot, or are you going to be continuing along with your 40K and Infinity?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not planning on giving up 40K or Infinity or anything like that. I'm not one of those people who just says, "That's it, I'm done, I'm quitting this game." Um, but I mean, realistically, I'm not going to have a lot of time to play those other games while I'm doing this league. Uh, you know, it's just kind of like a zero sum game for me and time. So I'd like to play more Infinity, and I'd like to play more 40K, but hobby wise and physical time wise, I'm just not going to have time for it right now. What about you? You got all the time in the world, right?
Ah, not anymore. It
Oh,
became a working man again.
yeah. Welcome to being a respectable part of society, sir.
Yeah, it's like I had all this hobby time, got a whole bunch of commissions done, and then I'm like, come home, like I just want to, like, there's not enough time in the world to do anything now.
I know, right? I know.
But
Life sucks.
it gets in the
We
way of
should
our
get a job.
gets in
We
the
should
way of
get a
our
job where we
hobby.
just paint. I know. We should just like paint all day. Then I would hate painting. But
Oh, I know Sean Gately's looking for miniature assemblers. Pays $200 a week.
no, I have a lot of respect for Sean, but no.
But
Um,
yeah, I've been uh
you should go work for Sean.
I've been rocking Infinity for the last while.
Yeah. How'd your league go?
I finished fifth overall.
Congratulations, sir.
Yep.
How many people were in there?
Uh,
6.
no, because two stores combined. So I think we had 18 folks in total.
Oh, nice. You did very well.
Yep, it bumped me up to fifth. I think 50th in the states and 200 overall in the worldwide.
Hey, congratulations, sir. Yeah, you know, we have like a really good sized group actually playing out here in Utah. We don't usually get a lot of credit for it, but we got a good group here.
But yeah, played Hawk Islam all the way through. Learned a lot.
You didn't really have a choice though, right? I mean, you had to kind of stick with your.
Yeah, but like um, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to learn because N3 just came out. I'm like, oh, cool, a whole bunch of new shiny stuff. I'm like, oh, let me learn my sectoral Kalpakaki, and I'm like, I'm struggling right now.
But like, I thought Capiculki was like your thing. Like those were your first love.
They are mainly because of the tag, but I with going through that league, I learned all the tools of Hawk Islam, and I got used to having this like whole toolbox of stuff. Now I'm like, all the units I enjoy are not there anymore.
Oh gosh, what are those one amazing units? They're in the assassin sectoral. The Oh boy, I can't remember their names now.
The Moobs.
Weebs, yeah, dude, those guys are amazing. I'd be sad having to give them up too.
Yeah, I'm trying to practice a Drew's fire team right now, and it's been interesting.
Not going so hot.
I I just I'm not used to working with link teams.
Hmm. I get that. Link teams, they take practice.
Yeah,
Like, you think, oh, hey, you just get so many bonuses. Like, there's no way you need anything else. But it's like, no, there's a lot of fidelity to those.
yeah. And it's like, how do you kit them out? How do you want to field them? Offensive, defensive. Um, what do you want to do with your link team?
Yeah. So, what are you using as your main link team then?
Um, my last list was all it was a Drew's.
Ooh,
So,
you don't see Drew's link teams very often. That's kind of cool.
so I had the well. It's funny because I have 7 Drews miniatures.
Really?
I have I split a box with a buddy, and then ended up buying another box. So I had six of the 6 guys, and then so it's like 4 of the basic folks, and then a hacker and the grenade launcher. And then within 3, we picked up the killer hacking device female.
Hmm.
So I'm like, oh, it's cool. I'll run a killer hacker, assault hacker, and then the 3 basic guys. So I've got a link team with combi rifles, X visors, DEPs, and they just got to run up the board.
That is kind of what Drews do.
And I just they got stifled trying to run up the board.
Well, don't Drews have like every like imaginable weapon? Like they have smoke grenades, don't they?
No, there's only one unit in Kalpakaki with smoke, and it's the Yanyons.
Oh, there you go, stupid yons.
Yeah, so it's like I could drop this guy in and then hope he doesn't scatter and survives.
No, doesn't work like that. Sorry, it never works like that.
That's why I started taking more than one. I'm like, okay, you guys die way too quick.
That is very true. AD combat guys die a lot.
Yeah, they look scary on paper. When you face them when you're not used to them, oh, they're a pain in the butt. But when you take them, it seems like everybody knows you're taking them.
It's just 'cause they're so easy to defend against. Like, I should say easy. I mean they're still powerful. They're still useful, but yeah. I mean, so were you like AD combat drop? Like, were you jumping them in, or how were
Yeah,
you bringing them in?
they're the inferior 80 combat jump, so they got a -3.
Uh huh.
But I took a Evo hacker, which gives a +3. So a physique 14. I'm like, okay, that's doable.
Yeah. Um, I usually walk them in off the board edge. What is it? AD
The,
combat infiltration or whatever.
or the parachutist or something like that.
Nah, something like that. I I'll tell you, I have a lot more luck with them that way.
Yeah, and I was just because I had my I like that the throw smoke shoot through with MSV trick.
Hmm.
So I was trying to position them so that they could do that. But it was one of those games where the dice do not love you. First Yan Yan drops in where I wanted him. Second Yan Yan gets dropped into the line of fire of his link team. So he's got missile launchers, Spitfires.
Ouch.
So I'm like, he's like, all right, you got to have to take these saves. I'm like, I just throw dice. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna pick them off the board.
Yeah.
There's no help saving 8 dice.
Oh gosh, no. Nope, no point in that.
And but I threw smoke. The guy who lived, I threw smoke and started shooting his link team with my sniper. I got MSV2 sniper. I'm like, all right, I got this. Spent 5 orders, and he armor saves with 17 pluses
Oh my gosh.
through 5 orders. I just like you could just hear my teeth grinding. I'm like, it's like this should have worked.
Yep. Yep, it should have. What he did should not have been possible, but he did it.
And then the game went downhill from there. So I'm still trying to learn how to run link teams, learn how to play this faction now.
Now, to be fair, in Infinity, and this is true of most games, but in Infinity, like, if the dice just aren't on your side, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah, you can have all the best tactics in the world, but if the dice hate you, you won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, so I mean, don't go hating yourself just yet. I mean, I guess you can if you want to, but I'm just saying, acknowledge the fact that your dice were not helping you. Yeah, that's always rough. Okay, but yeah, so I mean, Capitalki has a lot of nice stuff in it though too.
Yeah, you got the KTS, you got a nice tag. Um,
One of the best tags, really,
you've got the very
for the points.
yeah,
Well, let me clarify.
and you got Hafsas, the the folks that can
Yep, Hafsa's availability total.
available total, and so it's like, oh, you want to run a 5-man link team? They're a little expensive. Just take 3 guys and then a couple of Hafsas, and there you go.
I'm about at the screw up point with what I'm trying to do because it's just not working. Um, yeah, no, dude, Hafsas are great with mechanized deployment.
No,
They lose that?
that was Halka's.
Oh, Halkas.
But
Okay, well, Halkas are great. Hafsas are nice too, you know.
but like they've had a profile forever, but now they've got a better looking miniature coming out. The the Bashi Bazooks.
Oh yeah, I I've never because they never had a model. Like I've never really looked at their profile.
Oh,
Uh,
the models that they did have for like early edition stuff, or the gun, the combi rifle the guy holds is as big as him.
Oh, one of those. Roger, gotcha.
Yeah. And now they come up with a new sculpt. I'm like, oh, hello. Let's have Hall Projector level 2 troops that can parachute in.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's really powerful.
yeah.
Who wouldn't want that? That's kind of funny.
But I'm enjoying the Human Sphere book. Have you had a chance to look at it?
You know, I've looked at the rules, but I haven't like the fluff I haven't looked at, which is too bad because I'm really excited about the fluff.
Well, one of the things I like, I mean, the guy I'm painting right now, the Yanissary, um, I'm doing it in the gatekeeper scheme. One of the cool things I like about the new book is that they've put different color schemes in there. They're like, oh, here's how this faction is broken down into um, sub factions, and they got different paint colors.
Oh, that is cool. That's very cool. I like that.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm going to be playing QK, and I'm like, oh, might as well make them look cool.
Of course, rule of cool, dude.
Yep. So, so these guys are um, the QK is all about the ships and um, the Silk Road. So they're like, oh, it's got to be. They're very naval looking. I'm like, okay, how do I paint this naval?
So now let me ask you this. Um, I've been I really like the fluff of Infinity,
Mhm.
and so have you been reading the documents that have been getting released from the RPG Kickstarter?
A little bit. There's a lot of. I mean, they're like, oh, you miss a couple updates. You miss a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially stuff is really starting to roll now. It was pretty quiet for a while, but yeah, stuff is rolling for now. Um, they talked about how Hawkislam actually maintains, near like all the orbital drop off and pickup points.
Mhm.
They have all of these kind of like these trade areas. I can't remember the name of them. Like a caravan something or other, right? And
Mhm.
so it's basically like a free trade port. And so I was just thinking, I'm like, would that be something that Kalpukalki would help protect? I was just wondering that because you and Austin don't know, but I've been slowly, as Fluff has been unveiled and I've been learning the mechanics, I've been slowly writing a campaign for this.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, the guy we were our GM got pregnant, so
Yeah, that happens. I that happens. I've been there.
but yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to get back into the world of Infinity RPG.
Because what I'd like to do, and I think you and Austin are kind of amenable to it, is kind of run it a little lighter. I'm not going to worry about, you guys have to have food and stuff
Oh
like that. And
yeah, I mean, yeah,
like, oh, you didn't, you know, you, between sessions, you didn't stop at a place to sleep. You're screwed. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a little bit more fun. And just try and keeping things moving along.
yeah, like the Adventure Zone.
Exactly like the Adventure Zone.
Nice.
Have you continued to listen to that?
No, I actually I forgot all about him until I saw a piece of fan artwork. I think it was on Instagram.
Wow, people are actually doing like because they talk about that all the time. They're like, oh, people are gonna do like some awesome fan art for this, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But wow, they actually have people doing fan art.
Yeah,
Yes, it will be, maybe not like in tone, but in operations. We'll, the rules and plot and setting will be a great jumping off point. So
that'd be interesting. Because yeah, like right now I'm not haven't done much for anything RPG wise. Like the last thing I bought was this the 40K Stormhawk Interceptor.
ooh, you got one of those?
Yeah.
Cool.
And you know what? All right, I know sometimes we like to hate on GW, but as this kit goes, they actually they kind of made it easy for people. The guns, the chin guns, are actually two separate pieces of kit, so you can hot swap them.
Nice.
And so, and then same with the missiles; they're just caps. so a little bit of magnetizing, and you don't have to worry about anything. But the only thing I did, I my only downside to this kit was it's one of those combo kits,
Mm-hmm.
and when I got done building it, I had a full sprue for the second kit, untouched.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's for the what was it, the Stormclaw?
yeah. The other interceptor,
Mm-hmm.
Storm Talon, or
Storm Talon. Yeah, there you go.
and I was like, that just it was perplexing. I'm like, yes, I understand that they're trying to. I mean, when I asked online, I'm like, what does everybody else think of it? They're like, oh, you can magnetize it. I'm like, no, you really can't magnetize this. The wings and the cockpit um, are very one pieces. Yeah, they're built it one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's just so odd that if somebody's going to buy four of these to run in their game, you're going to have four full sprues of plastic that you're not going to do anything with.
Now, to be fair, I will take the challenge to magnetize anything because as an engineer, I believe that I can solve any problem.
Hit it with a
I
hammer,
just
use it with duct tape.
yes, sir. Sometimes you got to break it to fix it. Um, no, I mean, I've done some pretty crazy magnetization jobs on stuff like my riptides have some insane magnets going on. I have spent magnetization was probably actually the longest step on those riptides.
Yeah, I back when Tyranids used to run a lot of Carnifexes. I'm like, oh, I need to magnetize these bad boys up.
So, but yeah, I've like practically rebuilt some of the sections of kits where it's like, like the little sprue like frame that it comes on.
Mhm.
Like I will take all of that and use it, because I'm like, building my own little like internal supports for stuff and beefing up areas so I can put magnets in and
Heaven help us if you get a 3D printer.
you know I've worked around enough 3D printers that the magic isn't there for me. I'm like, that's just gonna be more problems than it's worth.
I saw, speaking of 3D printers, I saw on a Kickstarter. Um, no, it was at a maker fair, but they're going to go to Kickstarter. These guys are making a filament for 3D printers that is clay based. So after you're done
Oh,
printing it out, you can use sculpting tools to clean it up.
that is interesting.
So, like if you want to do a bust, a miniatures bust, instead of instead of printing it out, um, having to sand it down, clean it up, mold it, um, touch ups and everything, you just do it right there with clay tools.
Hmm. Of course, we might not even need that sort of stuff. Have you seen was it Protos? Have you seen their new like single cast pieces?
No.
Okay, dude. So like imagine like the gnarliest chaos terminator you've ever seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking like just standing like in a weird like not do anything pose, but I mean like dynamic, like stepping forward and like slashing through an enemy.
Okay.
And now imagine it as like one single piece, right? We've always said, "Oh, that's not possible, right?" You just can't do that. No, Protos has done it.
Huh.
They're obviously they're using the technology for their own stuff first, but they're looking to license the technology out.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, you could go back. Beasts of War did it like a month or so ago. Like they actually sat down and talked with them about it, and they were showing it off. And the detail is just as good as anything else I've ever seen. It is absolutely amazing what they're doing with it.
Well, that's cool.
So, I mean, now it's probably going to take a couple of years, to really percolate out. But oh my gosh, I am so excited for that.
Oh, it's like a it's like the regular plastic molds, but like smaller, right?
It's like this weird, like injection mold.
Okay, I do remember seeing that, and it just didn't click to me. I'm like, oh, that looks cool, but I'm like, I didn't see. I thought it was like a more industrial scale.
Yeah, the exact details of it are very hush hush, but it is just amazing looking. I mean, obviously it's a proprietary property, but just like, wow, that is so cool. I mean, and the interesting it like I can see it being a boon and a detriment, right? Because GW has moved towards a lot of like single pose miniatures, right, for their independent characters, and so I would hate to see losing a lot of the posability that we have with some of their kits.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other times where you're just like, I don't care, right? Like I don't want to assemble this. I don't want to. I'm not going to make a million of these guys. I'm just going to have one. And wouldn't that be so cool if you could just pick it up in a single blister, like a Chaos Terminator Lord in a single blister? The idea of that just blows me away.
That I mean, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what kind of arms race it spawns, because just recently GW announced their scenery package,
Yeah,
and
that,
and yeah, when I looked at it, I'm like, you know what, I could use that for Infinity or
sure.
any other game. It doesn't have that many skulls.
There are still a few, but yeah, no, the skulls are not crazy. They even have special rules for them. Ooh.
Yeah, they put gun emplacements on there, which I'm like, oh, those will get snapped off.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's dumb.
But the 3 containers, oil drums, and ammo boxes, I'm like, all those are a scattered terrain everybody needs.
Yeah, and the thing was like, I can't remember what the price is off the top of my head, but I remember looking at it thinking, I'm like, that's not a horrible price.
Yeah, I think it's like $50.
Yeah, for plastic terrain that's going to be durable. I'm like, that's not horrible. And like you said, it's, I have a little bit of heartburn about paying like $50 for a model or a box of models. Because I'm like, if I'm not playing that game, I'm not using that at the moment. But you're right. You're always going to use terrain. So, yeah, exciting times, man.
And hopefully it's going to be a regular stock item, not a one and done like their plasma turret.
Oh, yeah. Or the void shield generator. Yeah. That was doom.
But it's interesting to see GW is like taking this new page.
Yeah, and it'll be fun to see if it continues.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I'm out of stuff to paint
Well,
for this evening.
I know you. I've heard about your backlog, so I know there's more out there for you.
Oh, dude, there's plenty to do. I should say I'm out of stuff to paint for tonight.
Is there anything else news related that you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, we've kind of hit the big. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of other news out there. Like we could talk about the GW FAQ. We could go more into like the new missions for Infinity. There's a lot to talk about, but I think we've flapped our gums enough for this evening.
It's very true. I think it's time to tic-tac-toe.
So, well, you have a good night, sir.
You too. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, as long as technology keeps up with us. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this has been the Atomic Salt Show.